Hey everyone, Steve here from 11ish, a channel where we talk about lucrative investment strategies and opportunities based on the requests from the 11ish collective. When the stock market goes into uncertainty, my experience is to go into speculative stocks. So in this video, we're going to talk about why I do that. So I'm going to share with you why my strategy works, how I personally apply these strategies, and how it might work for you as well. So if this is the type of content you've been looking for, please hit the like button for me. And let's get started. So I have a handful of portfolios that are meant for long and swing trades. And this ultimately means that my investments are held between 2 months and more, generally speaking. Through about 15 years of experience, I started to notice that speculative stocks, not necessarily penny stocks, right? Speculative stocks tend to hold their values reasonably well during economic downturns. There's so much risk embedded in these investments already that they follow their own trajectory as is. In the meanwhile, all of the other stocks, right, during a downturn, whether it's a good business or one that's actually directly affected by an economic downturn, all of them tends to drop when the shoe drops. So you kind of insulate yourself from that sense. Now, I am absolutely not telling you to put all your money into speculative investments. That will never be my trading strategy. That will never be something I tell you guys to do. But it makes speculative investments a more interesting option to look at right now. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a handful of stocks that I'm currently looking at. But of course, I do not take a spray and pray investment strategy, right? I'm only sharing with you the stocks that I think is worth talking about. But these stock that I think has the highest potential for gain, if you already know what GNUS brand is and have your mind set, whether positive or negative, feel free to skip. So let's start from the top. What is GNUS brand? GNUS brand essentially is a children's network, a collection of cartoons that have educational values and star power built into it. This is a digital streaming business specifically made for children. This means that if the COVID Delta variant kicks in again, stocks like remote office productivity, digital streaming, at home workouts like my favorite Peloton, all of these can potentially have an opportunity to explode again. The thing with this stock though, unlike those, is that their business strategy is a lot more interesting, which in my opinion has been holding the stock value down. And what I mean by that is that the company is ran by a bunch of executives that have a shit ton of experience. So what do I mean by that? Well, the CEO of the company was involved in putting out thousands of episodes of content in those historical channels. Now he's running this business with his brand new idea. And along with him, he has surrounded himself with exceptional leadership. So, for example, he's hired a psychologist to be part of the board who has decades of experience in children's psychology. He's hired what used to be the freaking president, the founding member of Fox Kids, to be part of the team. Like I grew up on Fox Kids. That's super impressive to me that he can have that kind of pull to grab all of these really, really exceptionally experienced people together, pull them together to build this idea. I truly believe that even if you don't believe this idea, the fact that all of these folks do, they're probably right. Like ultimately, if he can do this, they probably have a very, very good idea in mind, a very set direction that they want to go towards, and they all believe in it. They're increasing the probability of success way more than any of us can imagine. The second thing is that not only is their leadership filled with star power, their actual cast, the people who are producing the content, is filled with star power as well. So, for example, the content writer, used to write for SpongeBob. Their content that's being produced is literally featuring Warren Buffett, Shaquille O'Neal, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jessica Biel as a llama. All of these things might sound trivial to some people, but in my opinion, that is what SEO is built off of. That is what brand is built off of. You have strong pull, strong experience, both the content producers and the content creators and the actors, They all come together. And lastly, they have the IPs. They spend a ton of money, like Stan Lee's last project, exclusively created for children's content. You know, that is frankly amazing to me. Like, I really think this stock is so undervalued. The elephant in the room, though, you must be asking yourself is why is this stock undervalued? Well, the first time I talked about this stock about a year and a half ago now, I think, um, the stock almost like in a month jumped to $10 from $3. And I told everyone to sell because I do not think the value was there. And as I predicted, the stock's going to tank. Why did it tank? Because GNUS brand kept diluting their stocks. Now, you might think it's an asshole thing to do. You might even think it's immoral, right? There was a bunch of lawsuits that attempted to get at the situation. But in my opinion, ultimately, they're trying to run their business. They saw their stock price go up. They see it as a fundraising opportunity. Every company does it. Every company does it. It's just the fact that this company is so small, when they sell stocks to fundraise, their stock price is going to tank way harder than anybody else, right? Because their float or the amount of shares outstanding is so much smaller. Now that they have so much more content, they have increased their revenue. I believe they said they actually tripled their revenue. Now that they've actually published all of their new content, they've built out their teams even further. They've made great progress on their revenue, their viewership, and on top of that, they're part of the Russell 3000. All of these combined, I think it is time for the stock price to go up. And just a quick note about the Russell 3000. Some of you might not even know what it is, but ultimately it's an index that they're now part of. And the benefit of being part of an index is that there are mutual funds that automatically pull from indexes, right? So imagine when Tesla joined an index, a much more popular index, their stock price is almost guaranteed to go up because mutual funds will buy that index, which in turn automatically buy that stock. This is the same effect. So you'd imagine that when mutual funds start buying in to that index, GNUS is going to get benefits from that, right? So the more indexes you're a part of, the more likely that your stock price will just reap the benefits without doing anything. I also think that one of the biggest reasons this stock is undervalued is because, let's face it, adults, they don't understand children's content. Like Teletubbies seems to me like one of the stupidest things out there, and yet they have so much viewership, right? They were selling like crazy in stores, right? These are not news, but they are like to us adults, like how is that even possible? But we don't understand fully, most of us adults don't understand fully the value of children's content and how much value they can generate. And this again ties back to the power of this company having partnerships with Mattel and Walmart to have that physical presence as well as that digital presence and the content team to generate all of these values, because the whole point is they hire people who know, who are smarter than us, who know children's content and value things like diversity, financial education, and all of these things we take for granted. They're presenting it and educating it to the children in a fun and positive way. I think there's real value behind this. Now that you've heard my positive pitch, and I am very much invested in this company, just FYI, the biggest risk I see in this company is that the stock price is very, very low. So it's high risk, high reward. I want to emphasize high risk, high reward. It easily floats between $2 and $1.30. That range of volatility is huge because there aren't that many shares outstanding and the stock price is low. You have to take that into consideration. I recommend that you look at investing in this stock the same way you might look at investing in cryptocurrency. It's high reward, high risk. If you lost it, you shouldn't feel bad about it. You should feel good that you invested into a company that is doing something great for society. That's how I feel about cryptocurrency as well. The second risk I want to highlight is that, kind of to my previous point, this company is known to dilute their shares. They're known to fundraise. Now, they've already raised like millions and millions of dollars so that they're in a very comfortable situation for growth. I don't frankly think that they're gonna dilute any further anytime soon, but you never know, right? They seem to be very much opportunistics. They seem to be very keen on jumping on opportunities, and like The fact that Warren Buffett is doing a show for them, I wouldn't be surprised if they're literally asking him for advice about how to take this company to the next level, when to dilute and whatnot, right? So please keep in mind, in my opinion, please keep in mind that they're looking at their business as business first, stock values second. Stock values will come later once the business is built, its foundations, its growth strategies, all of these great things. The stock price will go up automatically. The third risk about this company that I want to highlight is that it's not very easy to invest in this company. And what I mean by that is a lot of brokerages flag this company to be a risky investment. And some of you might know what this means. It means that when you're trying to buy the stock, it'll pop up an additional confirmation to your phone saying, "Are you sure?" You know, that kind of stuff, which is understandable, right? Because again, this is a very cheap stock. The reason I'm pointing this out is that this will create friction in buying the stock, and therefore it's going to prevent the stock from growing quickly until they get off that shit list. Right, so please keep that in mind. And a company like this, they're either going to grow super, super big, taking over the traditional children's networks, or they're going to get acquired. Do keep in mind that there was gossip about them getting acquired, but I think that that's going to not be anytime soon. There's still so much value to be built before that's worthwhile. So please do not look at it as a quick win opportunity. See it as a great investment opportunity to invest in, and that I think they're relatively immune to the economy's swings, and they might benefit more from a COVID situation. But they'll still grow if there wasn't one, because ultimately remote productivity, that's not going to go away. Digital streaming, that's going to get more and more popular. This is going to be one of those companies that's just going to keep benefiting from all of these things. Okay, some of the other speculative companies I'm looking at is Allied Esports Entertainment, AESE. Esports is in fact the future. You can't deny it. That is absolutely worth looking at. Ultimately, you want to look for esports companies that have great partnerships so they can maximize the potential and the reach of their company. Royalty Pharma is a really interesting company. I actually made a video in the past about that one as well. Nokia, I just made a video for that. I highly recommend you take a look. In regards to where speculation goes, I still think silver has a lot of potential, because silver is, to some people, they look at it as like, you know, if you can't invest in gold when you know inflation is happening, you should invest in silver. That is definitely one thing, but I think there's a lot of industrial applications for silver that most people don't know about, and especially in solar technology. So if that becomes a hot thing and silver's industrial demands go up, then I can totally see silver's price go up as well. And of course, GNUS. Okay, everyone. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. If you have any questions or concerns, please leave a note. And if you have any suggestions for what you want me to talk about next, please leave a comment as well. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible. I really do apologize for my delays, as I've been super busy. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys for sticking around and subscribing and being part of the 11ish collective. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to working with you next time.